Just waiting to find it. Waiting for it to.
All right, I'm gonna start our thing here. All right. Welcome to the show, everybody. Today we're going to be switching things up a little bit from our regular episode and bringing you our first in a league of their own mock NFL draft.
And with that being said, with the first overall pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select.
Just gonna quick pull up on YouTube. All right. Boom. All right. How do you want to start this?
How we normally do. And then we can just dive right in
All right.
to the draft.
Sounds good.
Hey, man, how's it going today?
Oh, just fantastic. Draft's right around the corner. Excited to dive into it today. I mean, a lot of kind of crazy stuff going on the last couple of weeks around the NFL. It's nice to kind of have something to kind of look forward to finally being televised in the next couple of weeks with the draft. So excited to bring you guys today kind of our mock draft. I know there's hundreds of analysts out there that kind of give their take on it. So obviously we're gonna have some similar mindsets, some different ones, and yeah, we'll just kind of leave it at that. So um, yeah, I'll kind of let you finish your sentence from the intro there with the first overall pick. Who do you got the Jags taking?
No brainer, Trevor Lawrence from Clemson. He's the for sure number one pick. Rumor already has it that he has the Jaguars playbook already, and he's starting to study up on that. Urban Meyer's looking forward, as well as their whole team is really looking forward to having him down there in Florida and getting things underway. I think he's gonna have a pretty good year. I mean, as long as he gets some blocking for him, I mean that's usually a thing that really kills young guys' careers is not really having the players around them slash the line to keep them alive in their careers long enough to where they actually get a chance to show what they can do. So that's who I think is going to be the number one pick, and that's a no brainer.
Yeah, got to agree with you there. It's all kind of how we talked about in prior episodes. Year after year, it's kind of it's nobody's wondering, oh, who's going at number one this year? Who's going at number one? It's known for pretty much almost 6 months up to the draft. Who like even while the NFL season's still going, and like as soon as the Jags locked up, okay, they're the number one pick based on their record, how the last couple weeks finished out in the NFL. The Jags locked up the number one pick. They're going after Trevor Lawrence. So like it was known before the NFL season even finished. So, but yeah, obviously the heart of your team is your quarterback. So to kind of rejuvenate that team down in Jacksonville, I think Trevor Lawrence is definitely the guy to go do it. Um, like you said, it seems like he's got a good relationship with Urban Meyer. Him being at the ex head coach of Ohio State, I'm sure that they've um, built a relationship over the years, been in contact. So yeah, excited to see how that works out for him.
With that being said, who do you got at number two?
Kind of another no-brainer. I got the Jets going after Zach Wilson, quarterback out of BYU. Um, especially after they went out and traded Sam Darnold down to Carolina, it was they kind of put the world on notice that they're all in on Zach Wilson. Um, there is a there even if Sam Darnold would have stayed, I still think they would have went after Zach Wilson just to create a quarterback battle in that Jets quarterback room. So yeah, now it's kind of a no-brainer as well. Rebuilding that team, obviously, a quarterback's a heart of your team. Zach Wilson. I mean, there's a lot like looking at Zach Wilson's pro day and his throws and stuff. I guess I'd say pound for pound, I think he's the most talented, like the most talented physically quarterback coming out of the draft. Um, whether like the mentality, like the adaptability, picking up on the new team that he's going to be on. If it is the Jets, kind of the way we're leaning. Um, that's kind of the big question mark for him. But I think physically he is the best pound for pound quarterback out of the draft.
Yeah, I don't. I personally think Fields is a little bit more athletic and physically just a little bit better. But the Jets being the Jets, and like you said, them moving Darnold over to Carolina, I think that they've pretty much let the world be known that they're going to take Zach Wilson as their pick. However, I personally wouldn't be surprised if Justin Fields gets selected at two either way. But just going off of the mock draft that we're bringing forward here, I'm going to stick with kind of like what the Jets set out publicly, and I'm guessing that they're going to end up taking Wilson at two.
All right. Moving to number 3 here. 49ers on the clock. Who do they take with the number 3 pick?
All rumors have it, and I'm yet again on board with that. Mac Jones from Alabama going to the 49ers. They're kind of in a win now type of stage with some of the players that they have on their team. Um, his ceiling, like just from college, it looks like because he didn't have the games played slash the reps that some of these other guys have coming in. His ceiling appears to be a little bit lower. However, he does seem like he would fit that pro style quarterback type of play. That's kind of what he did down there in Alabama. So I could see them taking Mac Jones, and then you should look to see him playing for the Niners in probably 2 to 5 years. This probably would be my guess, depending on what they do with Jimmy G and how everything goes this season. But that's who I got locked in at three is Mac Jones. What about you?
Yeah, same thing. I mean, it's kind of a question mark above my head as to why they don't go after Fields at 3. Whatever it might be, maybe they think Jones is going to fit their scheme better. Their like who knows what talks have happened behind closed doors with the 49ers. But I mean, it's going between Mac Jones and Fields. It's just you're basing off their college career. There's guys who come in who, I mean, talking about the GOAT himself, pick 199. Like he has a better career than top 10 picks for decades, for 2 decades. So it's like it makes you wonder. It's talking about, oh, this guy's going to have a better career. This guy's going to have a better career. Who actually knows? Mac Jones could be the best quarterback that comes out of these guys and has ends up winning offensive rookie of the year from any of these quarterbacks, or he could be the bottom of the barrel and um, kind of a guy under the radar, Trey Lance. He could be the best quarterback out of the draft that ends up having the best year. I mean, it's all based off speculation, but yeah, I mean, Mac Jones, I feel like he's going to be a good land wherever he goes. Obviously, I don't see the value in him at 3, but that's where the 49ers are lying, so or leaning, so that's kind of where I'm going as well.
Yeah, and then what do you got? Who do you got at four?
So yeah, right now the Atlanta Falcons hold the number 4 pick, and for my mock draft, this is where I have my first trade happening. I have the Falcons trading their number 4 pick to the Patriots. Patriots come up and get their next franchise QB in Justin Fields. So I got Justin Fields staying in the top 5. Obviously, a good move for them to if they do decide to go up and do this. Obviously, the trade's not happened yet, so the Falcons could stay at number 4, which would obviously change kind of the dynamic of the draft here. But with Cam Newton just being on a 1 year deal, I know kind of a lot of guys are on 1 year deals because of the low cap space this year, and then it's going to go up next year. So you're going to see guys kind of getting better deals next year. But I think if Cam Newton comes out and has a lackluster year, Justin Fields, I could see him getting the nod halfway through the season, or even in training camp, he balls out and looks better than Cam Newton. I could see him getting the start week 1 if that's the case too. So um, yeah, Justin Fields is a raw guy. Comes from a somewhat colder climate in Ohio State, so going up to New England, I don't think would be an issue for him. So yeah, I got Patriots trading up and taking Fields.
I got Justin Fields at four as well. except for I have the Falcons staying with the number 4 pick. Um, would be a dream for Fields to play for his hometown team where he grew up. He grew up just about a half hour away from Atlanta. Uh, I could see them taking him and developing him behind Matt Ryan, as it looks like Matt Ryan's on his way out. And like you said, how you said even for the Patriots, how like if Cam Newton has a bad year, I could even see Matt Ryan having a bad year and kind of just taking over that backup role and teaching the kid how to play and the little ins and outs of how to play the game. So that's who I got at 4. I got Justin Fields at 4.
All right.
Falcons.
Um, yeah, I mean that's obviously a good move as well. If the Falcons decide to make that move, um, to go out and get their next quarterback, I like you said, it's kind of a mirrored story with the Patriots and the Falcons, where if Cam Newton has a bad year, Fields could step in if the Patriots go up and get him. If the Falcons go get him, I could see him stepping in for Matt Ryan if he's having a lackluster year and they're blowing 17-point leads again. So, um, yeah, good move for them either way. Moving to number 5. I know this has been kind of one both of us have been back and forth on. Uh, the number 5 pick. Who do you got the Bengals taking?
Going off of sheer just who the best player available in the draft, I think I could see the Bengals potentially taking Kyle Pitts at 5. Um, I know they just brought Thaddeus Moss back in, but he's more of a blocking tight end where Pitts can go out and be that tight end who the Kelsey, the Kittle, those to Gronkowski, the guys that catch the ball quite a bit and really make things happen for the team. So I could see the Bengals loading up and getting Pitts just because their team's young. Burrow's an older guy, but he's still young in the league. It's like if those two guys can click on a different level, they could become the next Brady Gronkowski tandem in the NFL, and that's a surefire thing to have. Every quarterback would love to have a great tight end safety valve that they can get the ball off to. So that's who I got at 5. Is I got Pitts going to the Bengals.
All right, that I agree. That's a really good pick. You kind of went with the highest value and what make like getting uh Joe Burrow some firepower. I kind of went with the insurance side of things. You got to protect the guy. You could have the best receiving core, best tight ends out there in the league, but if he can't stand in the pocket for more than 2 seconds, then those guys are running routes for no reason. So, I got the Bengals taking Pinay Sewell, offensive tackle out of Oregon. Um, the best tackle coming out of the draft, in my opinion. Obviously by his stats, his ratings, his pro day, all that too. That's kind of where all the experts are leaning as well. So I think a crucial step for the Bengals to kind of get some better production out of Joe Burrow, make him more comfortable. Um, yeah, I think offensive tackle is the way to go there. You got to protect your guy's blind side.
Yeah, I can see that, and that's kind of why I said Pitts too, because the tight end they also block on the lines, so that helps get him some production as well. Who do you got at 6? Dolphins.
So number 6, the Dolphins. For those who uh, I guess need a refresher. They had traded their pick with the 49ers, their number 3 pick, to go down to number 6, and then they ended up getting the number 18 pick as well. So they ended up getting 2 first round picks out of that deal. So at number 6, still a lot of high value guys there. I got them going and getting Devontae Smith. Um, reliable guy for Tua to go to. Um, they have kind the receiving core is young. They got some flashy guys, but I think Devontae Smith comes in. Obviously, Tua was in Alabama. Devontae Smith came from Alabama as well. They're both familiar with that same system. Both even probably took reps together at some point towards the end of Tua's career and the beginning of Devontae Smith's career. So there's probably some chemistry already built there. So yeah, I think the Dolphins go out and get Devontae Smith, and he just adds some firepower to that receiving core.
kind of sticking along the same lines here. I got a receiver going, but I got Jamar Chase going down to the Dolphins, the number one receiver coming out of this class on many different analysis boards. He's got such a huge catch radius as well as he can stretch the opposing defense with his speed. Miami's got a handful of weapons and how they play the game on the offensive side, so I could see them going off, going and getting Jamar Chase, a guy that can just take the top off the defense.
Yeah, I mean, either of those guys are really a good fit for the Dolphins to kind of open up to his game a little bit more. So, yeah, I agree with that pick as well. Those two kind of are interchangeable. If I see if Smith or Chase go at 5, or I'm sorry, at 6, I think it's a good move either way. Moving down to number 7, the Lions. Who do you got the Lions taking at number 7?
This is where I got my first trade happening here in the draft. I have the Lions trading for the Broncos first round pick so that the Lions would drop to the ninth spot. I also am having their potential their next pick, which would be the 40th pick. I also have that as being a potential option as well for the Lions to sell at 7. So I have the Broncos getting that, and then the Lions would get the ninth and the 40th pick, and then I have the Broncos taking Trey Lance out of North Dakota. They need a quarterback. Drew Lock questionable, his antics and dancing all over the field when he's not that when he hasn't played that well. So I could see them going to get Trey Lance. A lot of people say he's got the people think that he could be the dark horse out of all these quarterbacks to come out and do something great as he has many different angles that he throws the ball similar to like a Mahomes and a Rodgers type style. So that's who I have. I have the Broncos trading up and taking Lance with 7.
Um, yeah, that good move if the Broncos decide to move up and feel that they need to go up and get him at 7. Um, Kind of we were just talking with with the last pick with Jamar Chase and Devontae Smith being interchangeable. I got the Lions going and getting Jamar Chase. Kind of looking at the Lions receiving core, very lackluster. I just pulled it up here. You got Tyrell Williams, Rashad Perryman is kind of their number one guy there. An ex-Packer, Geronimo Allison, is there as well. Quintez Cephas, ex-Wisconsin Badger. Um, a lot of young guys, but nobody's really a household name. So I think that the Lions could really benefit in having their next bigger, like I want to quite compare him to Megatron, but bigger physical kind of guy. So he's kind of on the right track there. So yeah, I see the Lions going out and getting Jamar Chase at number 7.
Yeah, I could see that too. What I have happening in my draft will make sense here once we get down to the ninth. You'll see kind of what I did there. Who do you got at 8? Panthers.
Number 8, Panthers made some moves on the offense. I think they go out and beef up their defense. I got them taking Patrick Surtain, quarterback or cornerback out of Alabama, to give him some help on the back end. They since Luke Kuechly left and Tom or Davis left as well. That defense has kind of been lacking some oomph and been kind of definitely the weaker half compared to their offense. Their offensive has been kind of carrying them the last couple of years, especially with Christian McCaffrey being there. So to kind of obviously give their offensive guys some more rest, they need a better defense, and um, starting with your cornerbacks is really a big part. Your pass defense. Panthers are towards the bottom of the league last year in pass defense, so I think certain would be a good fit for them at number 8.
I got this is where I have the offensive tackler from Oregon, the Panay Swell. I have him going to Carolina at 8, bringing him in to help protect Sam Darnold. Since the Panthers already decided that he's going to be their starter, and there's really not going to be any competition for Sam Darnold at the quarterback spot, I think that they're going to go ahead and just snag top offensive lineman out there to help beef up that line to help protect him as this could be his first year where he's actually had a line to stand behind and play the quarterback position. So I could see the Panthers going out there and trying to do their due diligence for Sam Darnold, as the Jets unfortunately didn't.
Yeah, I mean, obviously a good move if they decide to go with that. The Jets kind of that again, like you said, the Jets didn't go out and get Sam Darnold protection. So um, if the Panthers are going to be all in on Sam Darnold or even Teddy Bridgewater, Bridgewater's had some injuries throughout his career, which kind of ultimately goes back to your offensive line not protecting your quarterback enough. So whether it is Bridgewater or Darnold who ends up being the QB1 there, I know there's been rumors of Bridgewater trying to go get a QB1 position elsewhere. So we'll obviously be on top of that if that does happen. But yeah, whichever guy it is that's starting, obviously getting him in protection is a good place to start.
Yeah, I've heard some rumors actually about Bridgewater, since you brought his name up, of going to the Bears for Nick Foles and then having competition between Dalton and Bridgewater for that starting job in Chicago. That's just a rumor that I did hear. I don't know if it's got any weight behind it. Could be all smoke, but that's just something that I've heard that potentially is in the works.
Moving down to number 9 here, the Broncos. I know you had them trading up to 7. Who do you got at number
So
9?
yeah, so the nine would be the Lions trading back from the seventh spot. I have them taking Devonta Smith out of Alabama, wide receiver, in the ninth spot. He's going to be one of Jared Goff's top weapons. He's pretty much going to be the replacement for Kenny Galladay since he left. Um, the Lions have a great tradition of drafting receivers in the top 10. They had Calvin Johnson. Um, I really think he's going to be the perfect fit for the Lions, as they've kind of overhauled the whole since Matt Patricia ran that organization basically into the ground. Um, MCDC coming in here, over changing things, bringing in a new quarterback, just changing everything basically from scratch. I can see them taking Smith at the 9 spot here, and he's going to contribute very well for them.
Yeah, kind of had the same mindset with me. I had them at 7 taking Jamar Chase. Again, between him and Devontae Smith, very interchange. They both have similar but different play styles. I know it's kind of counterintuitive. Both, I guess, they're both the highest value guys kind of out of the draft. They're basically whether you have one or the other, they're going to come in and be a workhorse. They're going to get a lot of production either way. So I guess it depends which guy fits better into your scheme, like more perfectly, I guess. But you really can't go wrong with either or.
Yeah, Smith, he's more of the route runner type, like the Devonte Adams style. The beat you off the line, the really good footwork, and he's got the great initial speed. Where Chase, he's got the height, and he's got that blow away speed where he gets a couple steps on you and he can take, like, almost like Metcalf, except for he's not obviously as big as DK Metcalf is, but he's got better hands than DK. So yeah, I mean, he's been compared to Calvin Johnson, like you even mentioned when you had him going for at 7. Um, he's got that frame, the hands, and the speed to potentially be Calvin Johnson esque type player, where Smith is more kind of like a Devonte Adams, Julio Jones type of guy, but really good route runner.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. Good move either way there. Kind of switching over to the 9 pick from my side. I agree with you with the Broncos going after Trey Lance, although I didn't like. I have them taking him at 9, so I don't see them having to go up and get him at 7. It's only 2 picks, and the 2 picks ahead of them, the Lions just went out and got Jared Goff, so they don't really need a quarterback. The Panthers, they just went out and got Sam Darnold, so they don't need a quarterback. So the only way Trey Lance is going to get taken is if it's out of left field in the top 6, somebody goes out and takes him. But kind of going through those picks as they've kind of looked for us doesn't really make sense for anybody to go after Trey Lance above that. So But yeah, Trey Lance is definitely the answer in Denver. Drew Lock has kind of overstayed his welcome, I think, there to not really produce anything good for that team. Um, yeah, Trey Lance is, I think, would be a good fit. Again, kind of colder climate guy out of North Dakota to go to Mile High. I think it'd be a really good fit for him there. Kind of like you said back at pick 7. So.
Yeah, the only reason I think that the Broncos would trade up is you have the Patriots that are out there that need a quarterback as well. So if they're not going to make a move up early, you also have other teams too that wouldn't. Like for instance, if Atlanta trades out a 4 to a completely different team that wants to come in there, and it's not the Patriots, who's to say Atlanta's not going to trade back up and try to get Trey Lance for their backup quarterback? Like they're a young quarterback with upside is always someone that every franchise slash organization who has the room for it is going to take him. So that's why I just thought Denver's going to say, hey, we're not going to wait and see if he slides to 9 because he might not be there. Let's just for sure go get him at 7, and the Lions just fall back 2 spots.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, you see teams that kind of they'll only move up a couple spots. I mean, even look at like the
Seattle, too. Sorry to cut you off. Just popped into my head. Seattle still with Russ. Every indication points that he's back. Some people continue to say that this isn't going to end well, and it's not a for sure until after the draft's over because people could see him getting traded on draft night, and then the Seahawks go take a quarterback. You know what I mean?
hmm
So since they don't have a pick that's even close to being up there,
yeah.
they can make a move and go get a guy. So yeah,
But yeah, just to kind of go off that point of the Broncos only moving up 2 spots to make sure they go get their guy. It seems like the 49ers are kind of doing the same thing. The 49ers are sitting at 6. Mac Jones could fall to 6. He could be available at 6, but they want to make sure they go up and get him. If they are going to do what they say and go after him, or if they're just blowing smoke to leave a blood trail that leads to a dead end, and kind of throw a wrench in the draft at early on. Yeah, kind of a similar situation there.
Green Bay, you taking notes?
Probably not.
That's how you move up and go get a guy when you know he's the guy. You don't trade like especially last year's draft. It's just so funny how we trade up from something we never do, and then we go fucking take a quarterback. Like what the fuck?
A
Do you
guy that
really
could have
think
got
Jordan Love's going to be the guy after Rodgers is gone? I don't.
he would have been available third round or
Third
later.
round. Yep.
Yeah, whatever. That is what it
Yeah.
is.
So who do you got at 10?
So number 10, Cowboys, America's team. um, uh, Cowboys obviously have a lot of firepower on their offense. Prescott hopefully comes back healthy. You got Zeke Elliott. You got CD Lamb. They got one of the best offensive lines in the NFL as well. So I'm leaning towards the defensive side. Um, that pass defense again was not very good last year and hasn't been the best in previous years, especially now that they got rid of Xavier Woods, who isn't a household name, but was kind of the vet in that secondary. So I got the Cowboys going out and getting Caleb Farley, cornerback out of Virginia Tech. Who are you going
Dude,
with?
I got the Cowboys taking the top corner in the draft. Patrick Surtain out of Alabama. Cowboys are terrible on their corners. Um, it's been a couple years now. Cowboys fans, Skip Bayless, one of the biggest Cowboy fans out there. He always talks about how their pass defense is really weak on the edges, and they always have guys that are hurt. So I can see them taking this stud and him stepping in and being one of the top, potentially even the most NFL Defensive Player of the Year. Like he seems like he's almost the most NFL ready defensive player in the draft coming out of this class. So I have him going to the Cowboys at 10.
All right. Moving down to number 11 here. Also out of the NFC East, we got the Giants. Who do you got the Giants taking at 11?
I have the Giants making a trade here. I have the Patriots trading from 15 up to 11 have the Patriots going to be taking linebacker Micah Parsons from Penn State. This kid looks like he's a generational potential talent. He's got off the chart measurables. Uh, I could see him being the elite type of guy that they bring in. I know that that's Belichick's forefront, and that's kind of the area that he targets first is that linebacking core to make sure that they are solid. Him being the top linebacker out there, I could see them trading up to go get him and securing that defense.
Yeah, I mean the like you said, the Belichick's mindset. He's always been a defensive guy. That's as good as his offense has been. His defense has been even better. So, I guess kind of a follow up question or quick follow up question with that. You got the Patriots trading up to beef up their defense. Do you believe that Cam Newton is their guy then for the foreseeable future, even though he's on a 1 year contract?
Um, no, I don't see for this year. I would say yes, he's their quarterback for this year, no matter what happens. Then I could see potentially them in the off season. Obviously, like I said, the whole window with Mac Jones. It depends how ready he is in San Francisco. If he's ready after this season to come in, or even halfway during the year, he takes over. I could see the Patriots trying to work something out to get Jimmy G back in New England and be their quarterback for the ending of his career there with Bill. And then I could honestly see Bill retiring at the same time that Jimmy G does. He was kind of his guy that he always wanted in New England. So yeah, I Cam Newton's their guy this year. They spent all that money that they did in the free agency period really heavily on the offense, getting Cam Newton the weapons that he needs in the style of offense that fits him, that fit him when he did win the Super Bowl. Or no, he didn't win the Super Bowl, did he?
Who?
Cam, they lost it.
Yeah, they lost it to the sheriff.
Yes,
Yeah,
Peyton.
yeah,
Yeah. So, well, he was MVP though.
yep.
Yeah. So like that style that he was when he was MVP and they did make it to the Super Bowl, the tight end heavy style, him mobile, running around, short passes. That's kind of what Bill set him up with the free agents that they brought in. So, like I said, I could see them beefing up that defense and trading up to go get the guy.
Yeah, good move if they decide to do that. For my 11th pick, I got the Giants staying put. Again, kind of going with protection again. Daniel Jones needs more confidence. He's very similar to Sam Darnold, where you see glimpses of, oh, this guy's got an arm, and you see glimpses of what the fuck is this guy doing. So I just think he needs better protection. So I got them going out and getting Rashawn Slater, offensive tackle out of Northwestern, to um, help that offensive line. Um, really, the rest of their defense needs some help as well. So hopefully, throughout the rest of the draft, they go to get some guys to help beef up that defense. But uh, a good tackle is kind of the missing point on that offense because they just went and got Kyle Rudolph. They got Kenny Galladay from the Lions, so they made some moves on the offense. So and then obviously they got Saquon. So just that missing piece is beefing up that line a little bit.
Yeah, I could definitely see that happening, especially if they think Daniel Jones is their man. They got to protect the guy. So Eagles at 12. Who you got?
At number 12, again, another high flying receiver, Jalen Waddle out of Alabama. Got him going to the Eagles at number 12. Again, Jalen Hurts, an ex uh, uh, Alabama player, even though he finished his career in Oklahoma. Obviously, still familiar with the scheme, um, the system, as Waddle was as well before he got injured his senior year. So obviously, again, some chemistry there. So him going to the Eagles would be a good move for them. The Eagles don't really have they've Nelson Aguilar, who they got ended up getting rid of, was kind of their go-to guy. You got Zach Ertz, who is
Wants out.
wants out or even could retire. He's kind of getting old. He's been fighting injuries the last couple of years, so they need a young stud to come in and kind of take the show over in that receiving core. And I think Jalen definitely fits the bill for that.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you here at 12. I got Jalen Waddle as well to the Eagles. Him, if the Eagles actually want to give Jalen Hurts a chance at playing quarterback and being successful in the NFL, they have to go get him another weapon. As like you said, their wide receiver core is pretty much depleted as who has still been who was there from last year and years past. They really have nobody left. Ertz wants out, and management is hostile there. It's kind of seems like Philly's turning into a dumpster fire. So if they want to save Jalen Hurts at all from having or their team even being successful, they have to go get Waddle at 12.
Yeah. Yeah. Some good points there. Kind of similar mindsets. Not a whole lot to debate on that one. Moving down to number 13, the Chargers. Who do you got them taking?
I have the Chargers beefing up their O line to protect their quarterback that they found last year, Justin Herbert. I got Rashawn Slater here from the tackle from Northwestern going at 13. Um, yeah, pretty much a no-brainer going to the Chargers. They need to protect Herbert as people he can ball, so now they just need to protect him.
Yeah. Justin Herbert, offensive rookie of the year last year. Obviously, a lot of good potential there. Chargers are going to be kind of a team to watch. They missed the playoffs last year only by a couple games. For they won a decent amount of games for as I wouldn't say as bad as they looked, but they definitely had some lulls. So obviously, going on getting Herbert some protection is a good move for them. Um, for me, as hard as it is to say that he fell this far, I got the Chargers finally going out and get Kyle Pitts at 13. Um, Chargers just traded away Hunter Henry to the Patriots. They don't really have another tight end right now. Aside from Keenan Allen in that receiving core, they don't really have a explosive guy to go out and catch passes from Herbert. So um, Kyle Pitts, I think, definitely would be a good fit for that Chargers offense. Like you were talking about before, kind of can do it all. Great blocking, uh, big solid tight end, but then can also run routes like a receiver. So um, yeah, I got Kyle Pitts landing in Los Angeles with the Chargers.
Yeah, only yeah. If he does fall that far, yeah, I don't see why they wouldn't go get him. But for Hunter Henry being the number one um, overall rated talent coming out of this draft, even ahead of all the quarterbacks and everything, for his ceiling of how well he plays the game and his knowledge of the game, I don't think he slides outside that top five.
Yeah, I mean, going based off value, I agree. He's definitely a top five talent guy. But I mean, I guess I'm just kind of going logical with my, I guess my mock draft, which doesn't happen a lot either. Not teams don't always go with the most logical pick. So it'll be interesting to see if he, I guess, if he lands there, like good for the Chargers. But I hope he ends up higher than that, at least in the top 10. Um, just a matter of where he would land and who wants him more. Um, I'm moving down to 14. Vikings.
Vikings, I have. Let me scroll down here. I got Vikings selecting D lineman Quiddy Pay out of Michigan. Um, they need some help on the edge. They lost Jared Allen. A lot of guy like he was their basically their main guy. They need a guy who can come in, be in that rotation for the pass rush, and eventually grow into that every down threat, somewhat like he reminds me of Clay Matthews when he was coming out of the draft for how he plays, how fast he is. He's got bigger size than Clay Matthews, but he plays that same type of quick style off the edge where he could turn into an elite pass rusher if he has success in the NFL. So the Vikings, I can see them going out and snagging that D lineman to help beef up that D.
Yeah, the Vikings defense is kind of I'd say the better half compared to their offense, which is surprising when you got Kirk Cousins, who's a vet, Dalvin Cook, who's a top five running back, and then you got Justin Jefferson, who was a stud last year. They still had some issues on offense, so I'm kind of going with the offensive side again, going getting Kirk Cousins some protection. I got them going getting Christian Darashaw, offensive tackle out of Virginia Tech. Um, it just seems like Kirk Cousins is not playing like he should, like the first year that he came to the Vikings, or even his last year with Washington. So it seems like he's rushing a little bit, like he's letting passes get away from him, making errors that he shouldn't be making, and that obviously comes down to protection. Um, so I think getting him some more time to get his young stud Jefferson the ball more is essential, and then obviously in the run game to open some holes for Dalvin Cook as well. So, uh, yeah, I got Vikings going on getting a tackle.
I could see that happening as well. I have him going a few picks later, but yeah, I could see him. I could definitely see him going there. He's a very good offensive lineman. And then the 15, um, which is the Patriots pick. Who do you think that they take?
So I had the Patriots trading up to 4, and taking Fields. So I at 15, it's the Falcons. I have the Falcons going out and fixing that terrible defense, blowing their leads. I got them taking Greg Newsome, cornerback out of Northwestern. Um, got to see a full game firsthand of when Northwestern pummeled Wisconsin to hand them their first loss of the year this past year. Um, Newsome is kind of that. Um, he can be used in linebacker positions. I think that the game against Wisconsin, he played a lot, so that kind of hybrid cornerback position. So obviously good to have a guy that can play both of those positions, and the Falcons really needed on on the defensive end. Matt Ryan, who's been a good quarterback over the years. You got Todd Gurley, Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley. You got some good guys on that offensive side. Um, if you're putting up points, good, but you got your defense has got to step up so they're not blowing 20-point leads. So I think he'd be a good addition for that defense.
Yeah, and then I had the Patriots trading up to the 11th pick. I have the Patriots still staying here, and the Jets and the Giants later, I should say, that I have planned out. I have the Patriots taking J.C. Horn, cornerback out of South Carolina. Um, this dude's basically Stephon Gilmore clone. Um, dude is phenomenal. He's a phenomenal cornerback with Gilmore certainly on the outs in New England. Um, they need a new number one corner, so they're going to go get their guy at 15 here.
Yeah. Again, the wouldn't surprise me. Bill Belichick goes out and with 2 first round picks, gets 2 defensive guys. Seems like he spent most of his money that he went out and spent almost $200 million in 3 or 4 hours a couple weeks back. Got a lot of guys on the offensive side, so um, yeah, definitely makes sense for them to go out and get 2 guys in the first round to kind of get that defense back up to par. Um, Finishing out here with the 16th pick, the Cardinals. Who do you got the Cardinals taking at 16?
So I got the Steelers actually trading up, swapping with the Cardinals for the 16th. The Steelers would get the 16th, the Cardinals would get the 24th and the 55th pick from the Steelers. I have the Steelers going out and getting a linebacker, especially with the loss of Bud Dupree. They need somebody to come in and step into that role. So I could see them taking Jeremiah Owuns Karamabra, and however you say that, Koramora, Koramora, linebacker from Notre Dame. Dude's phenomenal. Only thing are questions about his size, as he is only a 6 foot linebacker. People are questioning his size, being able to see over the line, that type of stuff. But he's got the quickness and speed of like a Bud Dupree type guy. So he's very fast, very rangy. So I could see them. I could see Pittsburgh going out, taking him, and basically him sliding him right in that Bud Dupree spot since Dupree left and went to the Titans.
Yeah, I mean that would be a great move for the Steelers to go up and do that. Kind of add some more firepower to that steel curtain. Um, as good as the Steelers' defense is, it'd be scary to see them get even better. With my pick at 16, I got the Cardinals staying put. I got them going on getting Rashad Bateman, receiver out of Minnesota. Uh, it's still up in the air. Larry Fitzgerald hasn't announced his retirement yet, but there's rumors that he is done. He took his last snap of football for his career. So obviously going out and trying to find a replacement for him, you're not going to find somebody who's going to come in and do that right off the bat and be able to do what Larry Legend did. But Rashad Bateman, big physical guy out of Minnesota. Obviously being out of the Big Ten, watching Wisconsin play Minnesota. Um, I remember the Badgers secondary having some issues with him, so at least at the collegiate level, he was definitely a standout. Uh, not a top talent at receiver coming out of the draft, but when you got guys like Jamar Chase, Devontae Smith, you're going to fall down the ladder a little bit. But still, going in the first round is admirable, and I think that Bateman would be a good addition to the Cardinals. Um, Yeah, so that kind of wraps things up for us. We're planning to make this a two-part episode, just so that it doesn't get too lengthy, and you guys make sure you guys come back and kind of see how the second half of the first round plays out for us. So, um, yeah, maybe next week. Obviously, at least before the draft, we'll give our 17 through 32nd picks. And then if some trades happen, we might have to come up with a mock draft 2.0 and kind of resituate some stuff based on changes that happen. So if that does happen, we'll be sure to do that. Otherwise, yeah, this was fun kind of going through, and obviously we saw eye to eye on some stuff. But it's also good to see some variation because it leaves debate out there for people to kind of make their own decisions.
Yeah, absolutely. There's definitely a handful of things that I have coming in the second half of this first round that I don't think people are thinking is going to be taken. But yeah, excited to break that all down tomorrow.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. So you want to do this one tomorrow? You want to come back and do another the second half of this tomorrow?
Yeah, yeah. Let's finish this tomorrow.
All right. Awesome. Well, we'll see you guys tomorrow then. Breaking down the second half of this. Um. And then if there's any news to break down, we'll either start the episode with breaking news or end it. One of the two. Yeah, look out for another interview coming out this Friday. Again, Josh Mayer, for those of you who know him from his TikTok series, we plan to have him on and be dropping that episode on Friday.